Nationalism and patriotism are similar but have some significant and important differences. Let's start with a definition of nationalism. Nationalism is the belief that one's nation is superior to others and that its interests, culture, and goals should be prioritized above those of other nations. It often involves a strong sense of loyalty to one's country and its sovereignty. Nationalism can take various forms, including cultural nationalism, which emphasizes shared heritage, and political nationalism, which focuses on the independence and strength of a nation-state. Patriotism, on the other hand, is a sense of love, pride, and devotion to one's country. Unlike nationalism, patriotism does not inherently compare one nation to others or suggest superiority. It is more about valuing and supporting one's homeland and working to improve it. Patriotism often emphasizes unity, civic responsibility, and the shared values that bring people together within a nation. Now let's look at some examples. An example of nationalism can be seen in movements that promote the idea of national self-determination, where a group seeks independence to form its own nation-state. For instance, historical events such as the unification of countries based on shared culture or language often highlight nationalism. Another example is the belief that a nation's interests should dominate international relationships, even at the expense of global cooperation. An example of patriotism can be seen in acts of community service or national celebrations. For instance, citizens coming together to celebrate national holidays, honouring the sacrifices of military personnel, or volunteering during natural disasters to support their fellow citizens are expressions of patriotism. These actions reflect love and commitment to one's country without suggesting it is superior to others. Now let's look at some strengths of each. One strength of nationalism is that it can create a strong sense of unity among people who share a common culture, language, or history. This unity can help a nation achieve significant goals, such as independence or resistance against oppression. Nationalism often inspires pride in cultural achievements and motivates people to preserve their heritage. A strength of patriotism is that it fosters a sense of community and civic responsibility. Patriots are often motivated to contribute positively to their society, whether through voting, volunteering, or supporting initiatives that improve the nation. Patriotism can encourage people to take an active role in their country's development while maintaining respect for other nations. However, both nationalism and patriotism are not without their weaknesses. One criticism of nationalism is that it can lead to exclusion and division. By emphasizing the superiority or dominance of one's nation, nationalism may foster hostility toward other countries or groups, resulting in conflict or discrimination. It can also make it difficult for nations to cooperate on global issues like climate change or public health. A potential weakness of patriotism is that it can sometimes lead to complacency. When people are deeply attached to their country, they may overlook its flaws or resist necessary changes. For example, excessive pride might prevent individuals from addressing systemic issues within their society, such as inequality or corruption. In some cases, alternatives to nationalism and patriotism can provide a more balanced perspective. Cosmopolitanism, for example, promotes the idea of being a global citizen rather than focusing solely on one's nation. This perspective emphasizes shared humanity and global cooperation. Regionalism, which values local cultures and economies, can also serve as an alternative, encouraging collaboration within a specific area rather than strict national or global loyalty.